saw teen pregnancy as an issue among the low-income community only. I didn't think it would ever happen to me. I didn't think it would happen to girls like me. I grew up in a middle-class family. I went to public school up until the 8th grade, and then when it was time for high school, my parents put me in a private Catholic school. It was a tiny school. There was only 400 students, and there were no pregnant girls in the school at all. That wasn't even a topic. I mean, it was a Catholic school, so we weren't even allowed to be having sex. So it wasn't something we discussed at all. My life in high school was the ideal life of a high school girl. I was the captain of the dance team. I was on the volleyball team. I was the class representative. I was an honor roll student. I participated in every possible after-school program. I was in SAD. I was in the international club. Every club that you could possibly think of, I was there, and I was doing that. I was doing well in school, and I was like the ideal student. I was the ideal daughter, and everything was great. The teen parents that I did know, I looked at them and I thought that they had their own issues, and they got pregnant because either they were promiscuous, or their parents didn't care about them, or they were just out to look for attention, or they just had their own issues that I didn't relate to. Specifically, I had a cousin who is a year older than me, and she got pregnant when she was 17, and my family kind of disowned her when she got pregnant and said that, you know, well, she got pregnant because she was out partying all the time, and she was drinking and doing drugs, and that's why she got pregnant. And me thinking, all right, well, I don't do these things. I'm a good student. I'm home on time, and I do everything I have to do. I figured I would be safe. A few months later, I found out I was pregnant. I was 17 years old. My boyfriend was a few years older than me. Of course, at the time, I thought I was in love, and you know, you fall in love, and you're with somebody, and you think, I want to be with this person forever. But at 17, how do you define forever? You know, you don't even know what you're going to be doing next week. So I found myself pregnant, and everything completely changed. The way people saw me as the ideal student, and the teachers who would come to me for help and ask me to help tutor, immediately thought that my pregnancy made me stupid, and they treated me much differently than what I was used to up until that year. It was towards the end of my junior year, and things got pretty bad. When I finally told my parents, they kicked me out, and I had to move in with my boyfriend that same day. They tried to force me to get an abortion. I went to an abortion clinic. I sat in the abortion clinic. I went and I got the ultrasound. And just looking at that ultrasound and seeing this 9-week-old baby and trying to convince myself that I want to get an abortion when I really didn't want to was really hard. And again, I also had nuns in school telling me that, one, you know, getting pregnant is a sin, and then two, getting an abortion is a sin, so don't commit two sins. So it was really, really hard for me to deal with that. I felt ashamed. I was so disappointed. There were so many emotions going on within me, and I felt even more ashamed for my family, because now they had one more person in the family who was a teen parent, and now I felt like everybody was going to judge my parents the way everybody judged my cousin's parents. When I knew that my parents were loving, and I knew that my parents cared about me, and I knew that my parents treated me well and put me in a great school and did everything that they could for me. The only thing I would have changed is, of course, the topic of conversation about sex. It wasn't something we ever talked about. It was something that me and my boyfriend talked about. It was something me and my friends talked about, but no one, especially being in a Catholic school and never having that sex ed, I didn't really understand what exactly I was doing aside from the physical and emotional connection that I was making with somebody, which I'm sure a lot of teens feel that way too. So when I became a mom, everybody in my life told me I was going to become what every teen mom becomes in their view, which is like the welfare mom. You know, they say that I was going to drop out of school, and that I was going to live off welfare, and I was going to live in the projects, and that my boyfriend was going to leave me for somebody else, and I was going to raise this child alone. It got so bad even to the point where my guidance counselor at school would not help me fill out applications for college, because she didn't think I was even going to finish high school, so she told me that my priority would be to think about high school. I ended up switching high schools because I realized the support system at a Catholic high school is terrible. So I went to a public school where there was more support for teen parents. I was able to graduate on time and do everything I wanted to do. And a lot of that came from within me, because although I was pregnant and I was becoming a teen parent, I was still the same person that I was before I got pregnant. My pregnancy didn't change my grades. My pregnancy didn't change my desire to be involved in school. Of course, I couldn't be on the dance team anymore. But aside from all of that, I was still the same person. A lot of people didn't see that in me anymore, including my family. So once I started to accomplish these things, once I finished high school, and I walked my class, I started getting some of the positive feedback again. I started hearing from teachers and from other people that, you did such an amazing job, you are the exception, you are not going to be like teen moms. And that really did something to me. It started putting these thoughts into my head that they're right, I'm not like teen moms, I'm different. I'm successful, I'm going to college, I'm doing this and I'm doing that, I'm doing what everybody thinks that teen moms don't do. So with that happening, I called myself the exception, which is what a lot of young parents do. I started feeling like I was this one teen mom who was able to accomplish the things that no other teen mom has done. And they kind of made me feel like I was much higher than everybody else and made me feel like I was much better than any other teen parent. And that ended up causing some issues for me because I wouldn't talk to other teen moms. I felt like I was different to them. I didn't even want to look like them or what I thought that they looked like. I tried to dress myself better. I tried to make sure that my child was dressed like perfectly. I didn't want to become what I thought was the teen mom. And that, again, that caused issues for me because a lot of times when I needed support and when I needed to talk to someone, I couldn't because I felt like I wasn't like them. And I also felt like because everyone has told me I've accomplished so much, if I go and say, listen, I'm having issues here, I don't know how I'm going to finish college, then I felt like they were going to say, oh, all right, you are just a teen mom. So I never went to them, and I ended up dropping out of school in my second year and took a 3-year break. And now I'm finally re-enrolling, but it's been hard for these past few years to try to reach out to someone and ask for help and say, I am hitting this obstacle, and part of it is because I'm a young mom. How do I move forward? It's been hard. When someone's telling you that you are great, the last thing you want is to take that away from yourself. And I think that's some of the challenges I'm still facing today, and I'm getting over, but it's extremely tough.